Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting show of Monday Night Raw recap. This week we do not have Ray with us. He had an emergency earlier and had to take off. But sitting in his place this week is none other than the Sunday Night Man, Mike Currents himself. Mike, welcome.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sunday Night himself. Here tonight to recap Raw is Snore. Or War.
War. It wasn't that bad tonight, I don't think. They had a big lineup at least, and they
actually,
really
I was
made
going to say it was actually a pretty good show this evening. I can't hate on it too much. I'm not Rene Dupree, so I'm sure he can find fault in it though.
Yeah, we'll leave all the hate to Rene Dupree. He does a good job of that on his own Facebook.
We love Rene Dupree. I mean, he's real. He's a real guy out there spewing his hate, and I love every minute of it because you know me, Chris. I love to see the hate.
Well, you are a hateful kind of person sometimes. You love to hate on everything. Am I right?
That's right.
Am I right or what? I mean,
seriously. I mean, if you gave me $100, I would hate on you because it wasn't $150.
That's true. That's true. Or I could give you nothing, and you would hate on something for free just because you like to hate on stuff.
Exactly. I'd be like, look at this. Somebody gave me this sandwich, and they used a Miracle Whip instead of mayonnaise. What kind of animal does that?
I don't know, but it should have been mustard the whole time, right?
They can't cut the mustard.
Okay, well, that being said, we'll move forward here. Talking about Monday Night Raw and how it started out this week. Of course, we start out, as always, with a 15-minute segment almost of talk, which we should be used to by now. But show starts out with, I do believe, actually a little video vignette here about the recapping of Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns and what's going on with them, especially with the brawl that put Braun Strowman out. And most people who've been keeping up with it online know he's out for up to 6 months after the surgery on his elbow. Kurt Angle came out after the video goes off to explain the things that are going on and talks about due to basically Roman Reigns coming out and extracting some revenge on Braun Strowman this past Monday night. Strowman could be out after surgery for up to 6 months, and that put some things in a bit of a change, we'll say. So now they got to determine who the number one contender is for Brock Lesnar. And, the crowd's thinking right away he's going to give it to Roman Reigns. You can tell that's the uneasy feeling they're getting. Or did you not feel that way yourself, Mike? That's how it got me.
Well, I anytime that something happens and the main story just gets scrapped. It used to be Here Comes John Cena. Da 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 da. But now it's Here Comes Roman Reigns, which is even worse.
And the crowd didn't really start booing at that point in time. I mean, it's like they were holding out. They were going to wait and see. But he announces, he says, I thought, what we would do, but then I realized it shouldn't be given, it should be earned. So he says at Extreme Rules, we're going to be doing a fatal 5-way number one contenders match for the Universal Championship, but who to be in that match? He said he had to think about it for a bit. He goes on to announce that some of the names he came up with, of course, were Seth Rollins, and people were cheering that. Samoa Joe, which I would love to see Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. I don't know about you guys, but I would.
I would like it, but my wife cringes every time. The sexy wife, she cringes every time she sees Samoa Joe, and she always says the same thing. I just don't get it. I don't get what people see in Samoa Joe. She said he's fat. He has no neck, and he has all of the charisma and energy of a brick.
She's one of those closet people, though, because I bet you when she's done talking about him, she runs to the bedroom and you can't see her for a couple of minutes. She's like, oof, Samoa Joe.
No, that's Finn Balor.
Oh, Balor. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
who also, by the way, is in a fatal 5-way.
It's really great. Honestly, I love beef. And I was really looking forward to seeing him go at it with Lesnar. But this is really exciting. This is really exciting because here you have these 5 guys that are going to be in this Fatal 5-Way at Extreme Rules. The match is going to be, it should be off the chain. It really should.
It
There is
should,
no
yes.
reason why this should not be a match that will put any WrestleMania in recent memory to shame. Because
Well,
the
if
names
you,
in this match are absolutely phenomenal. No pun intended, and no disrespect to Mr. AJ Styles. And the they really do Extreme Rules. Oh my! Can you imagine it, Chris Adams? Can you
I mean,
imagine it?
yes, absolutely. I mean, we're talking Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, and Roman Reigns in the same ring at the same time, all against, no, there is no teams involved here. It's every man for
Right.
himself, and that was made apparent earlier, and we'll touch on that toward the end, more toward the end of the show when we get to the main event. But it is going to be something else. Now, when he starts to go ahead and leave after talking about how it's true and everything, this is going to happen. He goes to leave. Roman Reigns music hits, of course, and since I know you love to hear it, Mike, there he was, right there, walking down to the ring, looking like he just astonished. He can't understand what's going on. Gets to the ring and he tells him, we don't have to have a match to determine who goes on to face Brock Lesnar. He's the number one contender, he says. He goes on to remind people he beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. He put Strowman in that ambulance. He's the only guy around that can beat Brock Lesnar. That being said, and I wish we had his music here, cue Finn Balor. Finn Balor's music hits. He walks out. After a few seconds, it cuts off, and he says that he'll tell Roman Reigns the same thing he told Seth Rollins last week, or a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was. He was the first Universal Champion, and he never lost that belt. So it says, if you want a piece of the beast, the line starts behind me. And it looks like Reigns isn't like that, of course. He goes up to him and tells him he's got a lot of heart, but he don't have that killer instinct that it takes to knock out a Brock Lesnar. Well, talking about, the killer instinct, here comes Samoa Joe to get his 2 cents in. And he tells him it's got nothing to do, about big hearts and anybody's yard, and certainly not anybody's club. They're both very wrong on it. It's got to do with the actions and the results. And he goes on to tell them about how, the action of him putting that coquina clutch on Seth Rollins, and the result is him leaving lying on the floor. Action of him joining that fatal 5-way, result is him facing Brock Lesnar. And before he gets a whole lot more out, the lights go out. Well, we know what's coming up next, Mike, and who might it be?
It's Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt. We don't get the Fireflies, but we get the Bray Wyatt.
You know what gets me about Bray Wyatt is that his voice seems to be morphing. The more he talks, the more he sounds like Paul Bearer. His inflections.
Sometimes it does.
I swear his pitch is getting higher and higher. And I'm sorry, but it's just freaking me out, man. It's just really freaking me out.
There's a darkness in the Raw. What's he doing?
It's getting more southern.
There's something going on with it. What Bray Wyatt do you like better? The current Bray Wyatt with the dreads, or the Bray Wyatt with the hat he used to have on, and the open button-up shirt he'd wear walking to the ring?
Honestly, my favorite Bray Wyatt is the injured Bray Wyatt I don't have to look at on television.
Oh, now are you saying you don't like Bray Wyatt anymore? Because you used to be pretty big into Bray Wyatt there for a minute.
Well, it's the thing about it is that the gimmick is over. It's been over for a long time. It's no longer out there or wacky or zany or in the least bit frightening. It was in the beginning a little bit. You got a little chill. But after the House of Horrors match, no, it's a frickin' joke.
Oh my gosh, House of Horrors. I mean, there comes a time, not to stray too far off topic here, there comes a time when you have to not really reinvent your gimmick, but you have to at least alter the gimmick to make up for what's going on at the current time. Like right now, there's no more Wyatt family.
Right.
There's no Luke Harper, there's no Eric Rowan. There's none of this Randy Orton stuff in it, being in there with him and everything. There's no Wyatt family. It's just Bray Wyatt himself, and the way they're trying to portray him as the way they have always portrayed him. Bray Wyatt, the Eater of Worlds, follow the buzzards, run, whatever. They're trying to keep him the same thing that made him big, but at the same time, the thing that made him big was having that family of creepy people around him. The lights going down, they all appear out of nowhere wearing these crazy masks and stuff, and that feels kind of gone. So they got to do something for him, like give him a more of a killer instinct attitude where he's just taking it straight to people and not playing the mind games with them anymore. The ring psychology is great once you get in the ring, but don't
Right.
do it during the weeks building up to them. Come out there, jump on some people, beat them down, leave them laying, go back.
But
Come back and make a report about it next week. Come out and interview about it. Say, this is what I did. This is what I'll do. If he has to, jump somebody again.
But if they're going to do that, he needs a better finishing move, because Sister Abigail is a weak maneuver.
It's
not high
as
impact.
it used to.
It's not high impact. It's not. It's cumbersome, to perform. It's not like the RKO that can hit you in a second, like the Stone Cold Stunner could hit you in a second. Sweet chin music could hit you in a second. No, it's to steal a little thunder from Xavier Woods. If you were playing as Bray Wyatt on the very first ever WWE at home, console game for PS1, to do Sister Abigail would have been left, right, up, down, up 7, and you got to hold your tongue out the side and hope to goodness that you didn't get countered, because Sister Abigail would be so complex to try to pull off.
Well, this is about true. This is true. And
so I think he needs a new finishing maneuver, and he needs a little bit of a new attitude. They've done it in the past. When Undertaker went from the dead man, even before he went to the American bad rear, he had the Ministry.
We are PG-13. You can still go with the right name for him if you want to. It's good.
Well, I don't want to overstep my boundaries, because I don't want to, Ray calling me up later. Now, tisk, you can't say that on the air, Michael.
You know what PG-13 means, though. We are good.
But anyhow, when he converted over to the Ministry, the whole ambiance of the Undertaker changed. His gimmick evolved, and he was evil. He was nasty, and he was different than the previous incarnations of the Undertaker. This is what Bray Wyatt needs. If he is going to be somebody in the main event picture, he needs an evolution of that character, and not just dreadlocks, and not just sounding like he's Al Gore's half brother from Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
He needs something with substance, and he definitely never needs to have another House of Horrors match ever, because that was like they're not going to tell you what it is until you see it, until it's reality. And the reality was, oh Lord, this is horrible.
Right. Well, the turnout of all these guys in the ring all at once, because after Bray Wyatt got his words in, Seth Rollins' music hit, and he came out and told everybody in the ring that the people in New Jersey, that Newark, New Jersey, was not looking for a lot of talk. They're looking for a lot of action, and his talk of action tonight is him coming down there and taking it to Samoa Joe. The two of them start fighting immediately. Then a fight breaks out in the ring. Anyway, make this long story short, Finn Balor's the last guy standing in the ring. Very impressive look after all this. So they go from there. Next is the Hardy Boys walking toward the ring. Jeff Hardy's got a match against Sheamus coming up. Now this, I have to admit, I did miss earlier, so I looked this one up so I could find out what happened with it. I had walked away to make myself something to eat at that point, because I'm not a big Hardy Boy fan anyway. But let's face it, they're going to push the Hardys every chance they get on television. So I was sure Hardy was going to win, and sure enough, as I looked it up, Jeff Hardy did get the win there. Looks like Matt Hardy had done enough of a distraction to help Jeff Hardy get the win with the twist of fate and stuff in there. So
yes, it actually wasn't a bad match, and Sheamus looked really good. And
Sheamus doesn't have a problem looking good in the ring these days. He does a good job when he's out
right,
there.
right. I mean, and he really did. Sheamus looked excellent. Hardy, man, Jeff was looking rough at the end of the match. My wife, the sexy wife, even pointed it out that he looked really winded, and he looked like he was in some pain when he did the swanton. And she said, "Do you think he hurt himself?" I said, "No, I think he's old. He's old, and he's done this for a long time."
Hasn't he always looked like he's in pain when he does the swanton, though? Hadn't he always looked that way?
But I mean, this time he was like sweating bullets. He looked like he was having a gallbladder attack. Don't ask me how I know what that looks like, because oh my gosh, you've never experienced anything till you've experienced one of those.
I do not look forward to ever having to worry about that. So hopefully I don't have to worry about it. I have known plenty of people in the past who have, though, and I'm sure I know it's not pretty. Well, they say here that, of course, I missed this part, but it says Matt raises his brother's hand. Cesaro and Sheamus do by the barricade. Looks like you're not very happy with what turned out. But I was back in time for the next match, which was Alicia Fox versus Sasha Banks. They showed a thing back from the week before where it looked like Alicia Fox had kicked out before the 3 count happened, and she was upset she had lost that match, and they gave her another one to make up for it. So they're facing off each other again this week. They start off circling each other, trying to get a hold of one another. Sasha Banks gets a clothesline or somebody, or they grabs. No, I take it back. She ducks the clothesline from Alicia Fox and grabs her in a waist lock, catches an elbow for her troubles, basically. They got wasn't a bad match, Mike, but it wasn't one of the greatest women's matches on television at all time. I'm not a big Alicia Fox fan. I know she's been around for a while, but I just don't think she's got a great wrestling ability in the ring as some of the others do that are there. She doesn't even play it off very well. Now, I will admit, though, it was an impressive scissor kick she used to win the match, and she did get the win on Sasha Banks. I'm sure it made Booker T real proud up there in the announce booth as well, because he was yelling, oh, hurry up and get that pin. But as soon as she got that scissor kick, you could tell it was over with. Banks just looked like she was out of it. So, decent match, I guess, for the most part.
I enjoy any match when the Flying Forehead loses. So,
I knew you'd appreciate that part for sure.
Yeah, not Sasha, but Alicia Fox was looking really nice this evening. It wasn't a bad match. It was a quick match. It didn't really do anything to showcase either of their abilities. But since you brought him up, I just want to say I'm really, really glad to hear Booker T on the announce team. And I am not looking forward to Otunga ever coming back. Can he just stay, make it or something?
They may leave him on in the long run if they like what's going on. You never can tell. Otunga love to make that movie, so you never know how that might work out. I see they brought Noam Dar back out with Alicia Fox again this week. I guess they're kind of making them two kind of made up kind of thing or something after the weeks and weeks of stuff they had going on that came to a stop just a couple weeks ago on 205 Live. So I was kind of surprised to see that. I didn't know that was still a thing that was going on with them. After that match was over with, they kind of started talking about the hype coming up for the Intercontinental title match that Kurt Angle had made for this week. And when they come back from commercial, they are going to that match, Dean Ambrose versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, I halfway thought, to be honest with you, me and Ray talked about this last week, that The Miz was going to win this tonight. He was going to get the belt and maybe win it at Extreme Rules and defend it there and keep it and go to the next big pay-per-view and maybe lose it again. But that would make him, if he does get it, I believe, if he does get it eventually, and I think he'll get it at the Extreme Rules where they made the match for tonight, since he didn't get it tonight. But that'll make him 7-time champion when it happens. The only person to hold it more is Chris Jericho. They said at 9, I believe.
Yeah, I think Chris Jericho is like the king of Intercontinental.
I mean, that's a lot of times to hold that one belt right there. It's not like it's the world title. It doesn't speak volumes as much as the world title does. But to be a 9-time champion at anything, I guess, is always great. Now, I did think, like I said, we talked about this last week, and we thought The Miz was going to come out and take it this week. He looked pretty good in the match. He even had some things scouted out better than what he usually had, like when Ambrose does that little fall through the ropes and comes back out and clotheslines somebody. he was waiting on it and took him and put him in the skull crushing finale. And I thought, well, that's going to be it.
Oh
Usually no
yeah, there
one
was
gets
a
out of
lot
that.
of. Oh, there were a few points in that match where I was like, "This is it. This is it. Miz is going to win." Because I was rooting for the Miz. I like the Miz. Uh, William, the little man, he was rooting for Dean. He likes Dean Ambrose, so he would be chanting Dean, 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 and I'd tell him, "No, Dean's not winning. The Miz is going to win." And then when the Miz did win by the disqualification, well, that upset the little man. So he was having a hard time until he realized that Dean didn't lose his belt. So then he was upset.
At least he kept the belt. For now, at least. That's for now. But that's
For
not
now.
guaranteed that's going to last too long. Uh, I was surprised to see him kick out of the skull crushing finale. Like I said, not many people usually do. That's usually been pretty well respected, I guess, in the wrestling world there for the Miz. And when he puts that move on, no one really kicks out of it. But in this case, there you go. It was kind of funny though to see how it turned out, where Maurice was trying to distract the referee, and the Miz was going to go for the old Ric Flair low blow, come up from behind and just the big uppercut right to the groin, basically. And what happens? Well, Mr. Ambrose catches him by the wrist and blocks it. Turns around, points at him like, "Are you kidding me? You're trying to clothesline me in the nuts? I don't think so." You know, just looking at him. And as the referee comes out there, just hauls off and kicks him right in the boys right there. It's really hard. Referee sees it and is like, "Are you kidding me? I'm looking right at you. You're disqualified." And that's it. He calls for the bell. Miz is on the ground rolling around, trying to make sure they're still there. He got kicked pretty hard, it looked like. Uh, leading up before that, though, this is something you expect from Dean Ambrose as well. He climbs the top rope to jump down on the outside on top of the Miz, and Maurice gets in front of him. Like, "No, you will not jump down on him. No, you can't. I'm in the middle." And he's looking here, he's looking at the crowd, he's like, "Huh, 2 for 1, 2 for 1? I think so." And goes to jump anyway, and she moves. So, of course, the Miz takes that elbow off the top. But overall, what do you think of the match? I mean, it was kind of exciting back and forth. It's what you expect from those two. They've had good matches before, but I mean,
It was a really exciting match. I really felt that it was one of the best matches of the evening. It had everything in it that a match should have to be entertaining. It was excellent. And I'm not a huge Dean Ambrose fan. I'm really not a huge fan of his in-ring work, but tonight he impressed me. Kudos to you, Dean. Kudos to you.
Yeah, and then after the match, they go back to somewhere backstage. Like Dean's like he's mouthing an apology. Not really, but it looks like he's trying to apologize. You got Finn Balor interviewed backstage. They're talking about after the Raw tonight. I don't know, was it a documentary on Finn Balor or something? Was going to be on the WWE Network, I believe.
Yes, that was getting the sexy wife very excited.
Yeah, it talks about it's just his time basically. It's like what do you expect for your match tonight and everything. He's talking about how it might be Roman's yard, but it's his universe. He's going to go out there and take care of business tonight. So they also start hyping up the festivities, and then Alexa Bliss makes an entrance to send us to break here. So you see her walking out with her music and walks down to the ring. Of course, letting the fans know she is the goddess to make sure they give her the proper respect. I'm sure she looked at the camera, and she said, "I feel you looking at me that way at the Currents household, and you better stop that."
Actually, the sexy wife had to get up and she said her stomach was feeling ill when Alexa came to the ring. William and I, on the other hand, I mean, we were fine. We didn't feel bad at all. William was telling her how much he really liked Alexa, and that made her scurry on away even quicker. So I'm very proud of my son this evening. He's made Daddy proud.
I'm sorry she was feeling ill. I hate to hear that. I mean, it's such a prime time of the event too. I mean.
Oh yeah, I think she might have made the comment that pretty much there wasn't going to be any kind of good thing happening for a while, so maybe she should go take a shower.
That's a shame. That's a shame because I mean she missed the great address that she made to the crowd. Coming out there, I mean, as the goddess of Raw, I mean, she tells them, that they're in Newark, New Jersey, the city where dreams. No, no, that's not it. She goes, the city that never. No, still wrong. She's like, what is it? Oh yeah, third time's a charm. Excuse me, the sweat gland of America.
Yeah.
That seems about right.
She's such a
Um,
great heel. I mean,
I
she
know.
really is a great heel.
Yeah, it's a thing calls the crowd the poster children for failure, but tonight they get to experience the opposite. They get to experience a winner, and that's one thing she does really well right now. I don't know if you've caught this or paid much attention to it. Stone Cold actually come out and said this a long time ago, and no one ever listened. He gets Alexa Bliss did her homework though, and she listened. If you want to get the crowd to quit saying what, there's a real simple way to do it, and she's done it at least twice now that I've heard. Tonight, as they're doing what, she was like, if you're a failure at life, say what? And they're like, what? She goes, yeah, that's what I thought. And it keeps on talking, don't miss a beat. A few weeks ago, it was, Alexa Bliss is the greatest of all time, say what? And they're like, what? She said, that's right, thank you. And they all got kind of quiet at that point, stopped doing the what bit. It kills it, like practically
Right.
automatically. They stopped doing it. And so it cracks me up when it happens, too. Because she does it without missing a beat, like it's nothing to her. It comes natural and just keeps going on with her trash talk at that point, nonstop. So she goes on to talk
You know,
about.
it's really sad. If half of the male roster had a quarter of her ability on the mic, they would all be great. She, her mic skills are phenomenal.
Right, right. And if she ever catches up to it with her in ring ability to match her mic skills, watch out. I mean, she's not bad in the ring, but she's not, a Charlotte. She's
Right.
not even as
Well, let's
she's not even like a Trish Stratus really. Trish Stratus even probably wrestled a little bit better. You
well,
know,
let's be honest. She is somewhere physically between the Lord Littlefinger and or what no Lord Littlebrook and Spike Dudley.
well, 5 feet of fury though. I mean, takes down everybody. I'm saying, watch out. You don't
Well,
want to make her
I
mad.
guess that the Haiti kid did some great things too, and he was half her height. So
Exactly. But she's thinking. She says you're all thinking what it must like to be a winner. And she says, let me tell you, when you're smarter and dominant like I am, winning comes easy. And when she came to Raw,
ooh, yeah.
she said she was going to beat the top three women in a fatal four way, and she won. When she said she was going to be champion, what did she do? On her first attempt, even, she won. She said, I could have entered a Miss USA and walked off with the crown if I wanted to, but I didn't. And then goes on to tell Miss USA or whatever, doing you're welcome, for the tips that she gave her and everything, to keep playing it out. Well, here we go. Enter Bailey. I don't know if you've seen this earlier or not. I was out and about the other day. I took a picture of one of those things that was like the Bailey buddies on the stage up there that
Oh
do
yeah.
the wiggle. There was one at a car wash that was going on out there. So I took a picture of it and I put it up earlier on our social medias, and I had said that Alexa Bliss has been beating Bailey so bad that the Bailey buddies had to get out and get in there some extra money, work a day to get out moonlight jobs for extra money. She comes out, and of course she does her little bit. She says, "I'm gonna give you some mad props," like she's 12 years old. Um,
Well, she
Basically,
is.
you done what you said you'd do. I don't agree with the whole goddess deal, but who knows, and Bliss didn't really care either. Um, but the only thing Bailey was interested in was the title around her waist, and she wants that in Extreme Rules. She's going to invoke her rematch clause and become women's champion again. Uh, what it come down to, basically, is that a brawl ensued. Well, I won't call it a brawl. We'll say a fight ensued.
You
Alexa tells her, she said she don't know if it's a jet
send her
lag
to the
or the
back.
ponytail cutting off circulation, but Extreme Rules, that means do whatever it takes, and nobody will be there to save her, and she can't stop the match because she's scared of hurt. She tells Bailey she'll never get Extreme, and that's okay because she's such a good girl. Well, Bailey goes ahead and lays into her, but she pays the price at the end because I believe she got left laying outside the ring with somebody making the boohoo tears face at her. It looked pretty rough. She took but her neck across the middle rope and bounced her off of it and come back in with a kendo stick found under the ring and wailed on her with that kendo stick and knocked her back out of the ring with it. That pop that made from it too was pretty loud.
Did you notice that they pushed the envelope a little bit this evening for their PG rating?
On which part?
And they have for the last couple of weeks. With the chair attack on Strowman.
Oh yeah.
Now the kendo stick.
The kendo stick wasn't too bad.
The low
it was just
blow.
one hit.
The low blow. When's the last time you saw a low blow?
Oh, it's been a little while, actually.
It's been a long time. Are they gearing up for that Extreme Rules? Is this a glimmer of hope that we'll actually see something extreme?
I don't. Well, the last couple of years, there's nothing been extreme about it, but we'll see.
Well, I know, but this is giving me a little hope. I'm trying to be optimistic here, Chris. I mean, I know it's not normal for me, but I am really trying to be optimistic because I want Extreme Rules to be what it should be. A bloodbath of devastation, broken dreams, and twisted bodies.
And yet, we probably still won't get that extreme.
Yeah,
but yes, it would be nice. So, would be nice. Well, we go. Cruiserweights are coming up here next after this match when it comes back. But before they go to the cruiserweights, they go to the back to Kurt Angle, who's talking on the phone to somebody who he just refers to as Sammy. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Sami Zayn. No, don't worry. I'll call you, he tells him. In other words, please get off the phone. Miz and Maurice come rolling up, so he asks Miz, is he happy? Are you happy you got your match? And he says, no, he's not happy, of course. He goes, did you see what he did? He kicked me. Pointing, he kicked me. Is that what kind of champion do you want when it breaks the rules and does this and that? And I want a rematch at Extreme Rules, and I want it where the title can change hands even on disqualification. So you can already read where this is going, right? He's going to do something at the thing to make it where Ambrose gets himself disqualified, probably, and
now,
he'll take the title that way.
My question is, how can you get disqualified at Extreme Rules?
Thank you. I was thinking that same thing earlier. I was about to run that by you. I mean, it's supposed to be at Extreme Rules. These are supposed to be no disqualification matches, are they not?
Yeah, it's extreme. I mean, I
wonder if they think sometimes before they say some of this stuff that people. I mean, first off, I wonder how many people actually caught it. First off, not many people might have actually caught that.
Nobody,
but,
because they put it on after Alexa Bliss, so 3/4 of the audience is still staring off into outer space, wishing that they were her tights. And all the sexy wives of the world were in the bathroom, taking a shower because they don't want to, bear witness to the goddess.
Well,
so nobody noticed, Chris. Nobody but us. We noticed.
It was the highlight of the show. But also, the funny part of the interview is Maurice starts jawing at Kurt Angle in French, like she's she's fluent in French. She's just going off on him about things, and he looks at her and like he's shocked, and he returns fire to her in French himself, although it's kind of broken in a way. Then the Drifter comes walking by and just sits there playing the guitar. They all look at him real strange, and Miz and Maurice walk off, and Kurt's like, "Can I help you?" And he looks at him, and he plays the guitar and walks back off again. I don't know what they're going to do eventually with him. They got to put him in the
have to do something because I'm really getting tired of him just lurking around the back.
It was funny at first.
Yeah. He's like hippie man Mountain Rock, but he's not wrestling, and he doesn't have a WWF dual neck guitar, so he's not that cool. He's just kind of he's like your dirty cousin that can't keep a job, but he plays the guitar and people put dollars in his case, and his girlfriend never wears a brassiere or shaves under her arms.
And shops at Walmart that way?
Goodwill
and Walmart.
Yeah, well, they only go to Walmart on, days where they make a little bit extra in the case. It's usually Goodwill, the Salvation Army, and the dumpsters behind Walmart.
You'd be surprised what you get in the dumpsters at Walmart, though. Not that I would know from firsthand experience. I'm just saying.
I used to work at Walmart. I know what they throw away. It's amazing.
That's what I'm saying. I used to work at a Walmart before. I've seen stuff they throw away.
It is amazing. It is amazing.
All I'm saying, people, if you get a chance to go dumpster diving at Walmart, especially at night after they toss a lot of crap out there for the next day, perhaps peek in there and see what you see. Might be a DVD player or two. You never can tell. On to the 205 Live Cruiserweight People's match here. Austin Aries and Jack Gallagher versus Neville and TJP. He's now TJP, not TJ Perkins. He's TJP. He's all initials now.
And before long, it'll just be a symbol.
Right. Before long, he'll be the wrestler formerly known as TJP, formerly known as TJ Perkins. But I'm not going to go into great detail this match because, for one, Mike here does not like 205 Live or the Cruiserweights. He's not big on them. Secondly, it's like a repeat of a match we've seen like the last 2 months each week almost. Jack Gallagher here's the highlight. Jack Gallagher puts that nasty headbutt on Perkins.
I will say, I like Gallagher.
Well,
I like
Gallagher Gallagher
has
grown on me. He has grown on me for sure.
Gallagher and Aries, I like. Although I don't feel Aries belongs in the Cruiserweights, he belongs on the main roster. But Gallagher, yes, I like that little Casper-looking sucker, and if I ever get an opportunity to shake his hand, I'll try not to crush it.
Well, it's like the highlight of the match every week is his headbutt on Gallagher. I mean, his headbutt on Perkins. And that's because they make that slap sound that makes it sound 10 times worse than what it is. But it's like the highlight every week. Everything's the same old build-up, then the headbutt. And then here might be where something different happens. Well, this week, something different that happened was Austin Aries gets distracted by Neville on the outside, and Aries turns around and puts that forearm shot on him. Gallagher takes a toss to the turnbuckle, comes out of it, and gets right into the finishing maneuver that TJP puts out there, and I can't recall what it is once again. He tosses him in the air and it's like the go-to-sleep movie. He kicks him in the head, basically, so knocks him out. That's it. Match is over with. TJP still wondering when he's going to get his shot at the belt. Neville keeps telling him, it's around the corner. You're doing well. We got to take care of Austin Aries first, yada, yada, yada. Nothing's changed with that, but at Extreme Rules, Austin Aries will face Neville for that belt. And that's where I think the change is going to be made at that point. He should have had it last time. Neville pulled that old heelish move that the classic that you never see get pulled anymore. That was great, but I think it's going to work up to him losing this time at Extreme Rules for that title.
I agree.
Now, back from commercial, Bailey's back here in the trainer's room, getting some ice strapped to her shoulder. Angle walks up to her, talks about how kendo sticks are no joke. She tries to play tough and take the ice back off like it's no big deal. Says she didn't have to do that and offers her a straight-up wrestling match at Extreme Rules. Nothing extreme. Bailey wants a chance to prove Alexa Bliss wrong. Though after all her mockery, she's ready to get extreme. So Kurt's stoked about it and says they're going to give her and Alexa a taste of her own medicine with a kendo stick on a pole match. Do you think it's a title match as well, or just a kendo stick on a pole match? It is. I have no idea,
but I almost died. I have no idea, but I almost died when it was something on a pole match.
Yeah, we hadn't had that in a while either. A good long while.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, it's like WCW 1998.
So they're starting to come back around again, isn't it?
It is. It's starting to come back in style. Before long, Chris, we'll be able to sit here and predict what's going to happen.
Based on what happened the week after that WCW match.
Yeah.
Golden Truth are in the locker room talking about R-Truth's apologizing for letting Goldust down, but Goldie's not having it. They're a team. Just because he fell, so what? How many times has he fallen down and gotten back up? They're going to go out there, and they're going to do well tonight against the club, man. They're going to go out there and take on Anderson and Gallows, and they're going to win. So they get out there to the ring, and before the match can even start, Goldust jumps on R-Truth and pretty much just beats him down. I mean, let him know this is what's up at the end of it there. I guess that's the start of a feud between the two of them to bring something new to us and break that tag team up, which wasn't really a great tag team anyway, to be honest with you.
No, but I'm really excited to see Goldust back in a heel form. It's been a long time since Goldust was a heel.
probably better as a heel anyway.
Oh yeah.
The whole Golden
Remember?
character is not really fun. Not really a fun
No.
character.
Do you remember the feud with Razor Ramon?
Yes.
Oh man, was that not? I mean, Gold. That was Gold Dust at like the best. He was a heel. He was a freakish heel. You know, he played the mind games. It was really good. It was a good feud.
Exactly. Uh, Finn Balor. Of course, I may have jumped the gun here about the. I did jump the gun actually. There was a match in between the Golden Truth getting pumped up and them going out there to wrestle, which is my bad. Um, I think there wasn't there?
We haven't talked about the first main event yet, have we?
But no, but there was a match in between that though. I do believe, right? Because you got them in the locker room, then it went to Finn Balor and Roman Reigns for the first main event, right?
Yeah, yeah. They came out in between the main events.
Okay, so
So
we had
yeah.
Balor and Roman Reigns. So we're down to actually 16 minutes, so we got to pick up the pace a little bit.
All right.
Finn Balor,
Go.
Roman Reigns. I was actually pulling for Balor the whole time with this. I'm not a Roman Reigns hater, as you know. I will pull for Roman Reigns, but I do like Finn Balor better. And I don't really understand how Finn Balor is going to really sell against Brock Lesnar, like I said last night. But at the same time, I'll take it if they make it look good at least, and don't make it a squash match with him. Uh, it was a pretty good match there for a while. I thought he was going to come out on top at the end, to be honest with you. Reigns made several mistakes, especially taking his shoulder real hard to the turnbuckle. Not the turnbuckle, but the steel post there. And I thought that after he landed that drop kick on him, Balor did, that he was going to go up top and get that finishing move. But, of course, Reigns jumps up, knocks him off the rope, gets the spear on him, 1, 2, 3. You don't kick out of the spear, I guess.
You know, I have a lot of problem with this match. Number one, Reigns is injured and still beats a completely healthy Finn Balor, the man who was the first Universal Champion. You know, it's hard to swallow that they're making Roman seem so invincible. He was injured when he rammed that corner post. It should have been over, Chris. In my mind, it should have been over. That was the injured shoulder. That should have been the beginning of the end and Balor's victory. And I just don't like it. It's crap booking.
Well, check this out. In this order, I know there's more in between, but this is how I'm saying it tonight. Hogan, Cena, Reigns. They all three have one main thing in common. They're the unbeatable hero that WWE is trying to portray him as. They're the unbeatable hero. Hogan would get devastated by things, and within a week's time, he's 100% healthy again, or he comes out hurt, but he still wins the match and body slams the big guy and puts him down and drops that leg on him, and it's it. Cena can come out, get devastated and hurt one week, come back the next week and, make a good showing again against the next guy and win. The only thing that they did to Cena during his time frame is that when Lesnar came back and tossed Cena around like a bag of potatoes out there, that Cena didn't come back right away and look good. It still took a little bit before he could come back, and toppled him again. They did good with it that time. But these three guys, they've always done that way in the past, and it doesn't seem like it's going to change anytime soon with Reigns.
Nope.
So it's going to be the same thing. But Roman Reigns does win the match, though, even though it was a great match between the two. Roman Reigns comes out on top, and I don't think the crowd liked it too much either because they don't like Reigns. But they got over it real quick. So it goes to the lights out, Bray Wyatt in a smoky room, talking about, this is what you were talking about earlier, how his voice keeps hitting a new octave or something. Talking about some call him a man, some call him a conqueror. But he sees him for what he is, a beast. This may be Angle's show and Roman's yard, but it's going to take the spear of destiny and plunge into the heart of the beast and stand before them as the Universal Champion. As for tonight, his task was saving another soul in Seth Rollins, as he claims to be the man, an architect or a kingslayer, but does he have to stand up and look evil right in the eye? So they'll find out. Back from the commercial break, though, Seth Rollins is interviewed and takes offense with Bray calling him gutless and stuff like that, and goes on to give his 2 cents on the whole bit. Golden Truth makes their entrance with Goldust blindsiding R-Truth, as we spoke of earlier. Presses the attack and punishes Truth in the corner. Lets him know, basically, like I said, what's up as he leaves. And does the old thing where he draws that breath and poses as he used to. What would you call that exactly? I mean, runs his hands up his chest, that kind of bit, and slings his hands at him or something.
Oh yeah,
that routine.
I always called it the gold dust deep breath.
It does that bit, and they go back from break and come out, and we get my favorite smack talker Skywalker, Enzo Amore, and Big Cass come out. Looks like they're going to take on. No, it's going to be a singles match. It's supposed to be Enzo versus Apollo Crews. As they're doing their bit up in the ring, though, they get interrupted by Titus O'Neil. It's the Titus O'Neil brand. He comes out and does his best Enzo impersonation all the way to the ring.
And it is hilarious.
And it did crack me up. I will give him credit on that, man. He cracked me up. And Cass lets him know real quick, you're not facing Enzo tonight. You're facing me. And, you see Apollo Crews like, man, I ain't fighting him. I'm supposed to be fighting that. And you come down here imitating him doing the dance. He does a little shuffle of his own, doing this dance and stuff. Man, you fight him. He's like, I'm in a $31 suit and $1,200 shoes. Not that you people would know anything about all that. I ain't about to be fighting nobody. As it turns out, it ends up being him and Big Cass anyway. With Big Cass getting the win. Didn't take a whole lot of effort. Yeah. Which I don't know if that's good for Titus or not, depending on how you want to portray him these days. But Titus reminds me of another guy back in the day named Reggie B. Fine. Reggie would come out in Memphis, and he's a big, muscular guy. I mean, it looked like he could beat like majority of them up if he really wanted to, but was always the one to take the beating, it seemed like. And occasionally, he got on a hot streak and he got some wins, but majority of the time, he's just a guy that come out and got beat. And that's what Titus O'Neil reminds me of, in a way. So, as it's over with, Enzo's doing his best to get a selfie on Titus's phone to show the beatdown Titus, and Apollo Crews takes offense to his actions and gives him an enziguri kick to the back of the head. As he falls out of the ring, you've got Big Cass looking at him like, well, you got what's coming to you. What are you doing up there? What are you doing? What do you think was going to happen? And he's holding his head like, man, that's rude, They're leaving. I don't know if anything else is going to come out of that or not. As far as another match next week, possibly with Enzo and Apollo, I don't know if they'll do that or not. If they do, I mean, it's in my opinion, a bad direction to go. There's nothing there. I don't see how you can make anything out of those two fighting each other. So unless you just want to, get a filler time match in, basically, that might be all that's good for.
That's pretty much, and it's really sad because Enzo and Cass, from pretty much a shoe-in to be the tag team champions to filler.
I know. It's just not great. So after that's over with, we got the main event coming up. We've got Wyatt and Rollins finally. Match itself was pretty good. It wasn't bad at all. Do you think that was the better main event of the two? Or do you think that Rollins? Or do you think that Balor and Reigns should have been there instead?
I think that the way that it worked out, it was for the best.
I think the reason why they had this in the way they did was because of how it worked out, and we'll get to that in just a second here. But the match itself was not a bad match. I don't recall lately. Have we ever seen Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt go at it? I can't recall.
Not to my knowledge.
I don't think we have, and they're meeting each other in the ring now tonight, and it was not a bad match. Mm-hmm. It went pretty well. A lot of reversals and stuff. You've seen not Wyatt, but Seth was coming after him with something. He charged him in for like a clothesline or something, but instead gets caught with a rock bottom instead. Set it for like a Sister Abigail, but Rollins reversed it to a schoolboy pin for a 2 count. Then we get like a Falcon Arrow, I believe they call it, and that didn't work. Seth climbs up for a follow-up, but Bray heads outside, diving splash to the outside. Well, while they're fighting outside, Samoa Joe comes running down there and blindsides Rollins out of nowhere. So we kind of figured Joe's going to get his revenge sometime tonight. It's just a matter of what time in the match was he going to run out there. I kind of expected all of the 5 people to be out there fighting, to be honest with you, but it didn't work out that way. It was just these 3. So you had Wyatt and Rollins and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, of course, gets Bray Wyatt disqualified with this and goes to beat down Seth Rollins. He's beating him down pretty good in the ring. I mean, he's got those flurry of moves in the corner, including that reverse kick when he stops and flips back with a kick to the head. I've always liked that move. Thought it was pretty slick. And Wyatt comes up in there and looks at him like, you cost me my match. And they get face to face because Joe ain't backing down from nobody, And they get up there and then they look down at Rollins. Both of them start stomping him. And they're taking advantage of him. So as it looks like they're all buddy-buddy with all this going on, suddenly we get Bray Wyatt pull Samoa Joe in, hits him with the Sister Abigail. And like you said, man, that took forever. Because I was thinking Joe was not hurt or injured or anything. You mean to tell me Samoa Joe, the man of all these moves and submissions, could not have gotten out of that before he got slung around to the ground?
He should have just been able to, roll over and slap the Katina clutch on Wyatt and call it a day.
It really blows my mind or sometimes how they set those things up. But that just goes to show you that there are no teams. Like I mentioned earlier, we could get to it later in the show here. No teams at all. Every man for himself. You may have a temporary alliance with somebody in that ring for a couple of minutes, but don't turn your back for too long on them because they are going to come back on you because they are wanting the ones to be the number 1 contender for Brock Lesnar. And when's that Brock Lesnar match going to be? There's Extreme Rules or doing this. What's the one after Extreme Rules? Is that SummerSlam coming up?
I don't know.
Was there another one after that?
SummerSlam's in July. July or August. Either way, there's still going to be one between. There's still going to be a June pay-per-view.
Well, so we'll see what goes on with that then. That being said, of course, whenever you get 6 months up and the Beast himself comes back from that elbow injury, he'll be wanting his match then at that point. So it makes me wonder.
I hope so.
It makes me wonder, are they working their way toward Roman Reigns winning and facing Brock Lesnar so that when Meat comes back, he'll be taking on Roman Reigns again? Or are they going to go the route of pushing Finn Balor toward him? I've been hearing Finn Balor, but I don't know.
I don't think they're going to push Balor. I really don't, because the people have been geared up to see Beef versus Lesnar, and Beef versus Balor would just not. It wouldn't carry the same weight. It wouldn't be the same sort of excitement. I don't know what their plans are for Lesnar. I don't know if he's planning on sticking around long enough for Beef to come back.
Well, he's got so many things signed throughout the year already. So, I mean, they'll work it into that however they can. So the question is, but at this point, though, we're talking 6 months. If he's gone the whole 6 months, it could be at the end of the year before he shows up anyway. And I don't know how long Lesnar is signed for. Is he signed throughout this year? Or is he signed for a multi-year deal, so many appearances per year? I really don't know the extent of his contract to say. So it's a very good question
either
as whether he'll be there or not.
Either way, it wouldn't matter too much, be it Lesnar or Reigns. The only other thing I could see them doing is making Balor one of those transitional champions where he beats Lesnar somehow miraculously, maybe with the help of someone else. Maybe that's when we see the Balor Club come to fruition. And that's how he gets the win over Lesnar. And so then you got Balor as a champion, eventually leading in the 6-month period to Roman beating him for the title, and then parking Beef's return and setting it up like that.
I don't know if I'd like them using him as a just a transitional champion. He already had that bad luck with the injury where he won it and had to give it up.
Well,
to win it again.
By transitional in this aspect, I mean you're talking maybe 3 to 4 months. It's not exactly. I don't guess exactly he would be the transitional champion. That would be more of the possibility that Roman would have the unfitting.
So we're not talking,
experience.
Tommy Rich, Harley Race kind of transitional champion here. We're talking
Right.
more of a 3 to 4 months rule. That's not
Right.
too bad of a way to go. If you can hold it for 3 to 4 months before something
And
happens
think about it,
it's not
and
bad.
think about it, it actually makes sense as a way if they're going to debut the Balor Club to get it is, hey, he's facing Lesnar for the title. Here comes these guys. Helps him win. It makes sense, man. I mean, and I know the WWE's listening to this podcast, so you're welcome. I've done your work for you yet again.
So, do you think we can see this in the future? If that's the case, if Balor wins with help of the club themselves, Anderson and Gallows, and that becomes the Balor Club, do you think we could see a possible Balor Club versus a reunion of the Shield in the future? Club versus the Shield?
Possibly. It would be possible. It depends on if the club is a heel stable or a face stable.
We'll have to wait and see how that works out, if it happens that way. So we got a lot to look forward to, regardless, to say the least here. But that was Monday Night Raw, pretty much in itself, right there. Wasn't a bad show. It was a pretty good show. I would rank it up as about a B probably this week.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's a B. Solid
good,
B.
Good solid B, yeah. Well, we're down to 1:30, Mike. I guess we're going to start wrapping things up here. For everybody who listened tonight, thanks for tuning in and listening to our Monday Night Raw recap. Ray will be back next week, I'm sure, on Monday to resume his duties and everything. And as Mike always knows, Mondays and Tuesdays are always wide open. If you're not working, always welcome on the show, of course, on Mondays and Tuesdays, because you are, after all, a part of the show.
What do you mean part? I am this show. You all have nothing without me.
You are the whole effing show, right? That's what you are.
That's right.
You're like the Rob.
You all
like
have nothing without me.
Man, you are the Rob Van Dam of podcasting, man. You're the whole effing show.
Yeah, without the cloud of smoke.
And tonight you were Mr. Monday Night on that too, on top of it. So there we go. But thanks to everybody who did listen. If you are listening here, make sure you go visit us at bodyslamthecompetition.com. That's the that's the YouTube page where we put all of our videos up at. Hit the subscribe button and follow us on there. Go to blogtalkradio.com/bodyslamthecompetition. Look below the profile picture, hit the follow sign there, and that will get you emails every week of when we are coming on for our show, when it starts, and the upcoming ones we have already set up. We are at Body Slam the Comp on Twitter and Body Slam the Competition on both Facebook and at Instagram. Mike, if you're able to make it tomorrow, that'll be awesome. If not, we will see you on Sunday night when we talk about greatest managers of all time.
Oh, hey, we have a pay-per-view Sunday night.
Oh, that's right. We forgot about that.
Backlash.
We will do. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mike. We're doing Backlash Sunday night, and the week after we'll do Greatest Managers. So we missed that.
Man,
we missed it last
night.
We missed it last night. Where were you last night, man? I tell you. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight, Mike. Have a great one.